Welcome to this month's episode of Community Corner. In this series, we focus on great work being done by people and organizations in Northern Nevada that make this such a wonderful place to live and work in. I'm Angelica Reyes, your host, and I'm here chatting with Diaz Dixon, the CEO of the Eddy House. I'm excited to be here and interview you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Well, Angelica, thank you for having me here. On behalf of the board, staff, and all the clients, we're super excited that you take the time to spend with us.
Aw, this is a good relationship we have here.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Could you tell us a little bit about the Eddy House and the programs and services that you and your team provide to our community?
Yes, well, the Eddy House is a 501c3. We're a private nonprofit. We're only here, grassroots, right here in Reno, Nevada. We have been around since 2011, but we have made a big shift in this last year. So in January, we opened up our doors to become a 24-hour facility. We moved from an 1,100 square foot house to just under 16,000 square feet in this property right here, providing around-the-clock transitional housing services. We have workforce development. We have nurses, interns, counseling, a number of things to help these kids, homeless youth, ages 18 to 24, get off the streets and help them move forward so that they can have a sustainable lifestyle. Wow,
that's so wonderful that we have something like that here in our community in Reno, because there is a big need for that.
There is, Angelica. There's a big need. There are a large number of kids that are often deemed and titled as the invisible homeless. So you have kids that are living out in the streets. You have some kids that are bouncing back and forth from motel to motel, squeezing in with a number of other kids. Then there's a large group of kids that actually live on the river and downtown and finding nooks and cracks that they can slide into. A number of kids come out of foster care. There's a lot that have been runaways for quite some time. Sometimes they come from out of the area, hoping that they can land a good job, and they end up just getting lost in the mix. And we're just glad to be here to be able to capture them.
That's so wonderful. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you felt this was your calling to be here to help the Eddy House and seek out, help with the vision of what they want this community center to be of.
Well, it's a total blessing. For 14 years, I ran another program called Step 2 here in town. It's a substance use program for women and children. And that was a program that really had my heart. I had an opportunity to really build and run through a number of capital campaigns. When this opportunity came to me, it reminded me a lot of Step 2 in its early days. And at the time, I was working for Eddy House as a consultant, trying to help them get their capital campaign off the ground, because they knew as a board that they wanted to do something bigger because of the need that was in Northern Nevada. When the position opened up at the CEO spot, it didn't take long. They asked if I was interested in the position, and I thought about it for about probably 12 minutes. We'll say it was 24 hours. I went home to think about it, but I knew by the time I got back in my car that homeless youth was a population that I felt that we could have a really large impact on. I also knew that the statistics show that if you can give kids in this age range support and tools, that there's an 85% chance that they'll never be homeless as adults.
Wow.
So when looking at that, I'm a native Nevadan, born and raised in Vegas, came up here for school back in the day. We won't go back to the years, how long ago that was. I went off to grad school at the University of Iowa afterwards and came back to Reno. I knew I wanted this to be my home. Mm-hmm. Having raised my kids here, I know that my kids have had some wonderful opportunities, and I thought, what a wonderful place and a wonderful mission to be able to give other young kids opportunities to be successful. So wrapping that all up, knowing that I'm passionate about helping people, and I had an opportunity to build a wonderful team, which the people who are working here are phenomenal people. It's a blessing to be around them each and every day. And the biggest part is we're making a difference.
Yeah. Well, and earlier you mentioned too that you've grown this facility from 12 employees and now you have 38.
Yeah, so it's quite a bit overnight. Step 2 took a long time. It took about 8 years to grow to be where they are now, we've done this in about 8 months.
Wow.
So we knew when I came in, the board said we want to move into the new facility by 2021. And I went to a board meeting in December and I said, yeah, we're going to move in by 2020. And they said, okay, when are we going to get in? And I said, January. And I think some jaws dropped and they said, okay, let's get it done. And there was no time like the present. Particularly, we know that there are kids that were sleeping out in the streets and didn't have a roof over their head. And we're more than just a roof over their head. As we've developed and grown, and we continue to grow, we've expanded our services.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about, because you opened right before COVID-19 occurred. And so tell us a little bit about how that affected you here and how you're still able to provide those type of services to the youth during that, moment.
Angelica, that was a huge struggle. I am really glad I didn't know COVID was coming. We wouldn't have taken the chances that we took, but then we wouldn't have the success stories that we already have. COVID hit us pretty hard. We ended up having a kid get sick. One of our kids who was going off to working a graveyard shift came back. We sent him off to the hospital. He was positive. As it turned out, after being able to get testing for all staff and clients, we had 4 people, two clients and 2 employees that tested positive for COVID. It changed how we had to provide services. We had to lock down, cut back on what we were able to provide to be safe. We sent more than 50% of the staff home to be at home, be safe. Fortunately, we were able to still pay them. And just really went to a skeleton crew. In the last 3 weeks or so, we have started picking our services back up, providing a lot of those services of showers, clothing, and food to outside kids out in the parking lot under the shade. In the meantime, while COVID was at its heaviest, where we just didn't know what it was all about, we were able to help all of our kids who were living here. All but one kid had full-time employment. So we're thankful for the Duncan Management Group, the golf courses were able to hire our kids. So we would take them to work. They had full-time work. They were safe because they were working outside. Social distancing was good, but they also had the passion and purpose as they were moving forward. COVID still impacts us today because we have to be very careful about how we're bringing the kids in, very strategic with our drop-in services. So kids that want to come in and just stay for the night. On the cot side, we're limited in the amount of cots that we have lined up for them, but we want to be cognizant about our protocols and cleaning procedures because we don't want staff or other clients catching COVID. So it is addressed every week when we talk about how we're going to navigate as we continue to gather more and more information.
Well, it's still wonderful hearing that you, even through the COVID process, you were still able to provide some level of support to the youth here in our community, which is wonderful. What plans do you here at the Eddy House have, like future plans for the Eddy House and the community?
Well, we recently acquired Casa de Vida for pregnant teens and pregnant young ladies. We just this last week was our first week, and we already have 6 pregnant young gals living there. That's going to be a continual part of our services. On August 1st, we're opening up another 25 beds on the Our Place campus, where we will have, it's a higher end on our continuum of kids that need a safe place to stay. Maybe they're working, or maybe they're going to school full-time at UNR or TMCC, because both of those schools have issues with homelessness as well. Over 150 kids at the University of Nevada live in their cars and go to school. Over 50 at TMCC. We'll be able to service them. Then we're not going to do any more expansion for a while. We need to sit tight for a little bit, but we know that we have multiple doors depending on the needs of the young people that they can come into and receive services. So it's and then we will continue to build individual plans for each and every one of them in their road to success.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Now, the Eddy House is our charity of the year within the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors. If some of our members wanted to participate and help, how are some ways that we can help? Are you looking for donations, or maybe somebody volunteering some time?
Well, there's a couple of key things to what you just said. So you said charity of the year. So I jump up and down for that. So
Yay.
that makes me very happy. And then you said donation. That's a word right there that makes my ears go up anytime. There are multiple ways to help us out. So obviously we're always looking for financial donations because the kids coming through our programs don't have a means of paying for the services. As they work their way through, we have 6 kids who've left here and they're in another one of our properties and they're now paying rent, which is good. But where we need help is mentorship. If people want to come in and sign up to be a mentor for one of our pregnant gals at Casa de Vida or at our Ryland house for one of our young people there are multiple ways that you can get involved. If you've got different types of skills, we're always looking for donations in regards to clothing and books and maybe underwear and things like that. And our website is kept up to date. And if you haven't seen our website, our new website is beautiful. Our marketing team did a phenomenal job on that. And it keeps you, the website will tell you what we are in need of at that particular moment. But what I can tell you is that financial donations are always on there.
Okay. If somebody wanted to check out your website, what is that website address? It's
www.eddyhouse.org, and that's EDDYHOUSE.org.
Perfect. And then is there a phone number that maybe they can reach out to, or is the best route to go to the website?
The best route is to go to the website, and then it can redirect you to a number of phone numbers if you want to get directly in charge, directly in contact with marketing or the clinical services, or even finding out more information about how to become a volunteer. The website is the key place to go.
Perfect. I know a lot of our viewers and a lot of our realtors love providing, their volunteer time to services such as the Eddy House. So that's really exciting. I know we'll probably get a lot of phone calls or requests for you
awesome.
Regarding donations. So I'm really, really excited for everybody to hear about it. Is there anything else that we should know about the Eddy House that you would just love for our viewers to know?
Well,
that maybe we didn't touch on.
I think the only thing that I would want to throw out there to the viewers is we could not be where we are today if it wasn't for this wonderful community. We couldn't have this building, we wouldn't have this great staff that are putting in the time and effort, and we wouldn't be yielding results so quickly if it wasn't for this particular community. Las Vegas called us and said, hey, we want you to open up an Eddy House down here. And I said, we can't yet. We got to make sure we dial in what we're doing up here, but it is a true testament to it takes a village. And we appreciate the support that we've had and the ongoing support. And I greatly appreciate you and the group selecting us as the Charity of the Year. We look forward to being the Charity of the Year again next year.
Wonderful. I like that.
Okay.
It is great. And I thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Again, we love supporting our community, and I think you've done a wonderful job here. And I know a lot of your viewers will feel the same. So that's it for this month's Community Corner. Check in with us next month as we speak with Spread the Word, a great organization helping kids learn how to read. So click and subscribe to our YouTube channel, RSAR Realtors, where you'll see all our episodes of this Community Corner. I'm Angelica Reyes. See you soon.